It's a beautiful Tuesday morning. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. Spencer's here. I'm here. Your lovely, beautiful faces are here as well. It can only mean one thing. It's episode 39 of the Spen and Nick Show. So, Spen, what are we talking about today?
Well, mate, I think we need to talk about your Instagram post that you recently did, which talked about where people come up with their best ideas and where people do their best thinking. And of course, like I did a bit of an answer to that. And I think I put something about, I'm often coming up with ideas when I'm like listening to a podcast or listening to an audio book or something, and that kind of fires off a load of different thoughts. But actually, I've got to tell you that I had the most amazing run the other day, and I came up with 11 ideas in 10 kilometers, in a 10-kilometer run. Now, look, that is...
Whoa, hold on. Let me stop you there. Let me stop you. You should definitely write in the comments on this video where your favourite place is to come up with big ideas. And have you ever come up with more than 11 ideas as well in one go?
11.
Because it sounds like it's working for Spencer. Go on, Spencer. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, mate, that's perfect. 11 ideas in 10 kilometers, a ratio of more than one idea per kilometer. Doesn't get better than that, surely.
Absolutely not. And it reminds me as well of Arnie Schwarzenegger, who he'd always do. He wouldn't do 10 reps. He'd always do 11, especially when he was working out with someone else, because they do the counting, and they'd be like, "You've done, that's not 10, that's 11," and he'd always want to do one extra because he wanted to push himself that little bit further. So it reminds me of you when you've just done that you were coming up with 11 ideas, always going above and beyond. I like it.
I'd wish that I could claim that was my intention and that was the goal that I went for. But look, what was amazing about this run was, like, it's been a while since I've done a good run like that. It was really nice to get out into the open. But what it did was it was almost meditative in the fact that it stopped all of my thoughts about work and the challenges and like the crisis and all this stuff that's been occupying my mind for so long, and probably many of our minds for so long. And that freedom of like and clarity that I had in my head meant that I just started coming up with these ideas, and one idea led to another, which led to another, which led to another. And at one point, I was like, I'm having all these ideas. I've got to get them down. Otherwise, I'm going to finish this run and I'm going to forget everything that I just thought about. So what I did, and I think this is one of the really big key takeaways if you take anything from this, is you've got to get your ideas out of your head. And what I did is I just flicked over, and I had headphones on because I was running with an app to, like, as a guide. So I flipped over onto the voice memo, and I just recorded a really panty little bit of a voice memo audio track. And
I do one. I do too.
Exactly. Do you know what? Maybe I should just dig that out and put a little bit of what it actually sounded like. It's probably going to sound
That'd be good.
absolutely
I
awful.
like that.
And yeah, I just recorded these ideas, and I said one kind of voice memo ended up having 2 or 3 or 4 different ideas on, and they kind of spurred on other ideas in kind of different directions. So that was a really amazing thing. I finished this run. Not only did I feel great because I'd just done something really good physical exercise, it also felt like I'd given my mind a bit of freedom, but also a bit of exercise as well, in kind of coming up with the ideas, documented them to the point as well, where some of these ideas are about basically Instagram carousels. And I got these ideas down so that I said, right, slide 1, bam, slide 2, bam, slide 3, bam. And so I basically documented the whole Instagram carousel through audio whilst on my run. So all I need to do now, because coming up with ideas for Instagram carousels can be a really hard thing, so all I need to do now is turn those voice memos into words, put them onto the 10 different slides of a carousel, and bam, I've got content, daily content, basically for the next 2 weeks. Done. And that's awesome. That's such a good feeling.
I think that works nicely, and I think so. What's I know you mentioned the key takeaway, but what is the key takeaway? If you had to like summarize it, distill it, put it in a bottle, and then ship it to everyone watching this video, what would be in that bottle?
Okay, so here we go. I'm going to try this because I think I've got broadly two takeaways in my head, but I reckon they can be combined into one beautiful little package. And that is that if we want to start to increase our value that we give to other people, we want to start to increase our audience, we want to start to make sure that people are getting some value and we're serving people in some kind of way, then we want to be creating content. I think content rules We want to be basically creating a bit of a mini media business, a media organization that creates and distributes content constantly. And that key thing that we've talked about a huge amount is consistency, which means basically you've got to post every day. So whatever medium it is that you need to be working in, you need to be posting every day. Now, posting every day means that ideas can dry up. It can be sometimes really difficult to come up with what you want that post to be about. So here's my way of combining it. Every time you come up with an idea, you need to get it down. You need to document it somehow. You need to get it on voice memo. You need to get it onto a notes app. You need to jot it down with pen and paper. You need some way of pulling out that idea from your head as quickly as possible. This is a bit like that creativity muscle that we talk about quite often, Himo, where if you're constantly coming up with ideas, you're constantly writing down, you're going to start to generate more. Then it's so easy to fill basically a content schedule almost with what all these ideas are, so that you're not going to dry up with your ideas. So the two takeaways rolled into one are: post every day, come up with 10 ideas, or come up with ideas as often as you can and write them down. That will give you the content and ideas that you need to do in order to be able to post every day. It means actually that task of creating is going to be streamlined because you've already coming up with ideas already. You might have come up with ideas weeks ago and you're just then ready to go with it. So come up with loads of ideas, get them out of your head quickly as possible, turn that into content as quickly as possible, and post it every day. That's quite a mouthful for one takeaway, but that's what I think is so important these days.
Brilliant. I think my one takeaway from this is, if you've got some ideas, don't even just go for 10, go for 11. Try it, write down 11 ideas, and let us know how you get on.
Like Spinal Tap, dial it up to 11.
There you go. That's a good one. That's a good reference. Yeah, turn it up to 11. I think that should be the name of this episode, Turn It Up to 11.
I love it. It's got to be done.
So that's pretty much it for today. I wanted to keep it short. I feel like we've done that. I feel like we've jammed it with a lot of value. And I think we should leave it there. What do you reckon, Spencer?
I think let's leave it. And look, we say this often, but it's got to be said again. Like it, follow us, subscribe, hit the notifications button. Check us out on Instagram. Himo's doing some amazing things. Video work that he's doing at the moment is off the scale. I'm working on a load of carousels as well, so there's content just coming out of our ears. Follow us on all the things for all of the value, and you're going to love it.
Perfect. We look forward to seeing your smiling faces here next week on the Spen and Nick Show. See you later, everyone.
See you later.
I'm very happy with that.
You can't grumble, can you?
I can't. I'll try, but I can't.